Could Tommy Robinson finally be about to enter the political realm, something for so many years he has insisted will not happen? Let me talk you through this developing story from over the weekend. So this all started after Kathy Ginger, a woman I have huge respect for, she is the editor of Conservative Woman, withdrew her previous support for Reform UK and posted on X, cards on table, I have joined the Restore Britain movement and Advance UK. From being an enthusiastic supporter of Farage and Reform, I have very sadly lost confidence in them over the last year. To lose one of your ableist members in Ben Habib might be construed as careless. To repeat, this was unforgivable and stupid. Watching Reform in the run-up to the May Council elections deselect candidates who stood for the very things I believed in was dismaying. Now, that prompted a surprise announcement from Tommy Robinson, who wrote, I think I'll join both. Many of those that left Reform because of his lies and attitude towards me have joined Advance UK. And of course, in case you're struggling to keep up, you can be a member of both Advance UK and Restore Britain, because Restore Britain, which is Rupert Lowe's organisation, is a movement. It is not a political party. He has said that in the future, maybe it could become one, or maybe it could take over a political party. But for the moment, it is a movement, which is why you've seen people like Susan Hall from the Conservatives join. Ben Habib's movement, Advance UK, will in time be a political party, he says, if it reaches the 30,000 member threshold, at which point he will donate £100,000 of his own money. To my superstar panel, Alex Phillips and Lewis Brackpool. Now, Lewis, this is fascinating because I guess one of the ways that Ben Habib's movement might get to that 30,000 number is if Tommy Robinson supporters join in force. And I would say in the early days, being completely honest, Restore Britain has had much more of the momentum, certainly more high-profile people joining, you know, David Starkey and Susan Hall, people like that. But it's also felt like an easier proposition because I think so many people, including me, are so disillusioned with party politics. But what we have seen with Advance UK is big Tommy Robinson people, you know, Paul Thorpe, Liam Tufts, Howard Cox, say, no, we need a party too, and row behind Ben Habib. So do you think this will make a big difference for Advance UK if Tommy Robinson does indeed join as a member? If you're enjoying what we're doing here on Outspoken, please consider joining our thriving community over on Substack, www.outspoken.live. You can sign up completely for free, but Substack is so important to me. It is a free speech platform. It protects me from big tech cancellation. Plus, you get to communicate directly with me. Head on over www.outspoken.live, enter your email address and sign up today.
I think it will certainly make a massive difference in my view, considering, you know, Ben has just literally started this particular party and is still rallying support, because a lot of people feel as if there are too many parties in the fray at the minute. So maybe that this galvanization could, of course, rocket boost this just a little bit further. You know, I don't know Ben personally. I've not spoken to Ben, but, you know, good luck to him. You know, it must be quite difficult considering, you know, everyone feels disillusioned at the minute. People want an answer. People want a way in which their voices can be heard. That's why when Restore was created, and it wasn't a political party, and I know Charlie Downs personally, who's a very good friend of mine, and Harrison Pitt as well, who's recently joined, who's also a very good friend. I know those men very, very well, and I know what they want to push, and I know that they're good-hearted individuals that really want to spearhead really, really good change. Not to say that, of course, Ben Habib doesn't. I'm sure absolutely he does. But because of that personal connection, that's a little bit of an edge for me, and the galvanization between so many people around Rupert, because he has proved himself in Parliament to show that he is a grafter. He does put his money where his mouth is, and he gets on with it. And I think people galvanize around that kind of, we want to see actions rather than words. So, it's very early to say, but yes, it will rocket boost to that. So we'll see what happens at this current stage.
Do you think it's sensible for Tommy to enter the political realm? Because up until this point, he has always been very clear with me that he views uniting the kingdom as a cultural movement, not a political one. And I have to be honest, I sort of liked that. I sort of thought it's a bit like, look, not everyone has to want to be a politician, right? You can do so much in terms of moving the Overton window outside of politics. I have absolutely no desire personally to join a political party, to ever be a politician. It's just not what I do. But I definitely think what we will do in the independent movement will, and I think it actually is already making a huge difference on Reform UK policies, for example. And I think that will continue up until the election. Like, is it even wise for Tommy to go down the path of joining a political party, or does he have much more power sitting outside that, being the head of a cultural movement? Because I think what we're going to see on September the 13th with the Uniting the Kingdom Free Speech rally is massive. He's bringing people together like Jordan Peterson,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's wise for Tommy, really. And look, he's his own man. He can do whatever he likes. It's his game that he wants to do. So it's completely up to him what he decides to do. But I think him heading more of a cultural movement is probably better in his sort of realm. However, that doesn't discount people who do want to get into, let's say, localized politics as well, which I think is incredibly important. There's that saying, you want good guys in power, really. You want good guys in power to make the change as well. It's not just from the outside. But whilst saying that, we all have a role to play. You, me, Alex, everyone else, we all have our own role to play about, shifting the Overton window, shifting policy as well, talking to people, networking, trying to see what's next. So everyone does have their own role to play, but specifically with Tommy, I believe Tommy did try to get into politics. I believe he ran for a council, I believe, or an MP several years ago, and obviously the Overton window was a lot different then. But if you want my opinion, I think he's better doing what he does best, and that's his documentary work, his journalism. And it would benefit more if he encouraged people to get into local politics and to encourage people to stand and to galvanize in that area, as opposed to just going to rallies as well, which are great morale boosters. But you want good guys to get in there and to make change. And I think that's kind of the role that I believe should be played. But it's totally up to people what they want to do.
But first, in today's digital world, your online freedom and safety have never been more under threat, whether it's government overreach, tracking by big tech, or cybercriminals lurking on public Wi-Fi. That's why I use Surfshark. It is the world's best VPN that protects your identity and secures your data. But Surfshark is so much more than your usual VPN. Go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark to secure your data, protect your freedom, and support Outspoken at the same time. Now, look at this. Surfshark's clean web feature blocks ads, trackers, malware, and phishing links so you can browse safely without being spied on. And it makes the experience so much easier and more pleasant too. Need to access certain apps or websites without VPN interference, like your banking app? Surfshark's bypasser feature handles that with ease. And if your VPN connection ever drops, Surfshark's kill switch immediately disconnects your device from the internet, keeping your data safe at all times. Plus, with dynamic multi-hop, you can route your connection through 2 different countries at once, doubling your encryption and making tracking nearly impossible. This means you can freely switch beyond your favorite country lock shows with the click of a button, so you can be watching your favorite TV shows and sport from all around the world, wherever you are. There are other benefits with Surfshark too. You can access it on unlimited devices, meaning your entire household can stay safe with just one subscription. And with over 3,200 servers in over 100 countries, there is a world of choice at your fingertips with 24/7 customer service too, which is a real positive. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken for an extra 4 months of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. And what's more, Surfshark's so confident that it is the best VPN in the world that you can give it a try for a full 40 days. And if you're not entirely satisfied, you will get your money back. So go to surfshark.com/outspoken or use the code outspoken at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. But now, back to the show. Okay, then the other big fracture on the right has, of course, been involving Zia Yusuf. And there are a couple of big developments over the weekend. First, so he was now the head of Doge at Reform UK, previously chairman, but seemingly still very important behind the scenes. So firstly, Katie Hopkins made her own intervention over the weekend, asking Nigel Farage to remove Zia Yusuf from Reform UK. She posted, "Mohammed Zia Yusuf is an insult to your Reform Party membership. First, he calls your only female MP dumb. Now he joins an attack on a Jewish MP. Just what is it he has got on you, Nigel? This Mohammed has no place in a party for decent Brits." Now, Zia Yusuf, he was posting on X like unabated all weekend, not chastened at all. And someone had said the political establishment is terrified and so they should be. And Maya Tusi responded saying Zia Yusuf is literally part of the political establishment himself. He's one of the most influential figures in Reform UK, the second largest party in Britain. He was a Tory up until a few months ago. Now, of course, this whole scandal erupted because on Friday, it emerged that he had liked this post on X in regards to Robert Jenrick. Reminder that Jenrick is a traitorous Zogbot with a Jewish wife and family. I'm sure it's unrelated that he imported infinite brown savages to rape our women and children. Tommy Robinson had also weighed in, by the way, saying, WTF are you doing with this wrong'un, Nigel Farage? Yusuf eventually apologized, saying one of the team who posted my X account accidentally pressed like on an awful anti-Semitic tweet earlier today. I apologize for this. The post also refers to brown savages and is equally racist against me. Clearly it was not intentional. The amount of anti-Semitism and racism on this platform is spiraling out of control, and I hope that changes soon. Now, that may be accepted if it was a one-off mistake, I guess you would say, although the issue does seem to be that Zia Yusuf has history in terms of blaming staff members when something goes wrong on social media, because this BBC reporting during his time at Velocity Black, which was the concierge company he was the chairman of, showed that he was sending inappropriate messages on, I think it was Instagram, to a female staff member because she'd blocked him on WhatsApp. And through lawyers, Yusuf said the accusation was false and that he had employed someone to manage his social media accounts during that period. Now, look, Alex Phillips, what sort of stuns me about this is just that whatever you think of Zia Yusuf, there seem to be totally different rules that apply to him. Okay, so I'll give you 2 examples of that. Firstly, Reform UK has been utterly brutal in terms of its social media and vetting policies, right? Like, you're just gone, even if you make a mistake. Then the mainstream media, Alex. So I watched the entire press conference today that Nigel Farage gave on Law and Order, and I think it was about 45 minutes long, and it was really robust, right? And that's where Nigel is absolutely at his peak performance. You know, he's taking questions all over from the Mirror, who's asking about Tommy Robinson, you know, like he's answering all the questions. So I'm not blaming Nigel for this, but not one mainstream media journalist, because it was only the mainstream media that was there, of course, no independent journalists invited, asked a question about this scandal. And it's like, why does there seem to be a totally different standard when it comes to Zia Yusuf, both within Reform, but also in the mainstream media too?
Yeah, I can't answer that, but to be honest, I don't know what the answer is for you, Dan. But what I would say is this: look, I know Zia. I've met Zia, and he's highly intelligent. He's a very, very intelligent man. I can't see why he would have liked that post deliberately. I just, I'm just using Occam's razor here. Liking a post that is written so crudely with such disgusting language that talks about brown savages. Why would he like that post? I just can't see why he would do that intentionally. Go, yes, I totally agree with this, because I just can't see why he would. So I think with this one, I would want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and whether he clicked on it just on late at night, I don't know, or whether there are a team running his social media, I don't know. When we start getting down into the minutiae of posts that people have liked at some point in their life, I just find it quite sort of unbecoming. But when you read that, that's a really horrific couple of sentences, isn't it? I mean, that is not good at all. A normal human being does not like that post, even if they were to believe in the words that it says. Like I said, I cannot see Zia Yusuf agreeing with the terms brown savages, and I cannot see a man of his intelligence thinking it'd be a good idea to like that. So in this instance, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Why the mainstream media didn't ask about it, your guess is as good as mine.
Lewis Brackpool, I mean, I guess just for folk who maybe don't understand exactly how it works now, X, which obviously used to be known as Twitter, changed its rules. So your likes are now confidential. But the problem here is that the person who posted that tweet, and I think we can all agree, it's pretty revolting, despicable, racist, anti-Semitic indeed, went public with the fact that Zia Yusuf had liked the post. So that's how this became public, because now your likes on X are actually a private thing. So I don't know if that provides any type of explanation as to maybe the fact that he thought that it could be secret, or do you take his word for it too, Lewis?
It's very difficult to say, isn't it? Because one person's going to say one thing and then the other's going to say the other. So it's one of those really difficult ones that you just don't really have an answer. Of course, this is the really difficult point to make. It could be that, because he was on a tirade about Robert Jenrick in the context there. So it could have been that he was scrolling through and just clicking like on every single one that looked to be whatever. But still, that's no excuse. I don't understand it. It's a very weird story.
I just hope, given he was the person that was in charge of these very, very stringent vetting policies where some really good people didn't pass the test, maybe this is a lesson to him. Give everyone a second chance on social media. Let's stop ruling people out being candidates or being members of Reform for posts that they made on X. That might be just a good lesson to take from this. But I do feel he definitely does get very, very different treatment.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.